much into that at all. I could say going back to the Raiders' last practice at Allegiant Stadium, they made a point to really get Henry Ruggs involved, and they were throwing. I can't really give away too much of what I saw because we're not allowed to, but I can just tell you that they got Derek Carr got him the ball in all sorts of different ways: long, short, medium, crossing patterns. So. There's no way that if he's Derek Carr appreciates that having that long ball option now, and somebody that he's confident in is going to be able to go up and get it, in that phase of the game. So he's not going to force it necessarily if it's just not there. But if he feels like there's a chance, he's going to take those chances. I don't think you're going to see as many checkdowns as you have in the past. He's going to let it fly because he knows that he's got people that can go get it. So really looking forward to seeing that part of Derek Carr's game. And as far as Edwards, certainly, he looked really, really good, as did Henry Ruggs. But here's the thing: I don't think that there's going to be like this emphasis to get this guy the ball that week or that guy the ball this week or this series. I think this offense, and I go back to my days covering the Los Angeles Rams, the Sean McVay's offense. It functioned at its highest when you were just spreading the ball around to the open man. So that's where the ball should go. And I think that's the kind of quarterback that Derek Carr is. He's going to get the ball to the open man, but there's definitely going to be an intent to get Henry Ruggs involved, as will be the case for all of the Raiders' weapons, and there's a lot of them this year. So I think that's going to be fun to watch. See, we'll just keep waiting on some questions. Let's see. Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Pug Mahone wants to know, there was a move today with to restructure the contract of Corey Littleton. Could a bigger move be in the works? I'd advise probably against getting your hopes up in that regard. However, the Raiders now are in position, if they want, or if there's a player that's appealing to them that becomes available. That's always the key. They're at least in the position to be able to make a run now that they've created some salary cap relief. Last I checked, it's about $9.1 million that they have under the cap now. More than anything, they were just trying to create some flexibility for themselves, some relief for themselves, because they were really up against it. And what you worry about in that kind of a situation is if somebody were to go down, not having enough money to go out into the open market to bring in some help. And if you do, it's going to be for just not very good players. So I think that they wanted to be able to be in a position, if somebody becomes available that they want to get involved in, that they can now, do that, and B, more than anything, just be able to have that flexibility as the season goes on and use it as warranted. Let's see. Raider Rick wants to know, is the pec injury to Mariota why he missed a bunch of training camp, or unrelated, and is a part of the shoulder issue? Raider Rick, I'm going to assume that it was, but you have to understand that at this point in the season, they're not obligated to really let us know exactly what it is, because unless he's on the active roster and he's missing practice in a game week, which this would be, then they have to say what the situation is. But he's not on the roster anymore. He's on the injury reserve, so they're going to keeping that on the down low. And when he was out previously during training camp, that fell into that same category. They didn't have to tell us because there was no game involved or game week involved. They didn't have to tell us what the issue was. I was told a couple of weeks ago during that stretch where Marcus was not practicing that it was not leg related. So I think it's somewhat safe to assume that this all ties into the same injury, which is being reported as a pectoral injury. So, but I can't say for sure. As much as I've tried, I can't say for sure if this was if the pec injury was new and there was something else a couple of weeks ago, or if this is all one and the same. You hope that it's just one and the same. Let's see what else. And by the way, with the Corey Littleton situation, basically what happened was they took a large chunk of his salary and converted it to a restructure bonus. So it's kind of like moving money around from one classification to the other. So his salary for this year, his base salary this year goes down to $910,000. With 10 million, about 10.1 million now going toward a restructure bonus. From what I understand, that restructure bonus, the $10 million, will get paid over a period of time, or at least it'll be indicated like that on the books. I'm not quite sure exactly how that works. If he gets it in one lump sum and it goes on the books as 2 point something, $250,000 or so over 5 years or 4 years, whatever the case might be. But the fact is, part of his salary, $10 million of his salary, became a bonus, and that took his base salary down to $910,000. Which, there you go. That's how you create some salary cap relief, which is exactly what the Raiders did. So, good on Corey. It doesn't matter to him really that much. He gets his money regardless. Heck, there could be, I don't know this to be the case for sure, but sometimes in that situation, maybe taxes are helped out a little bit because of the way the money is dispersed. But in any event, he gives he is willing to restructure. He lets the Raiders be able to create some salary cap, and all that. That ultimately helps everybody because it gives the Raiders a chance to improve the team, and for Corey, that means playing on a better team potentially. So that's a good thing. Let's see, what else do we have? So somebody asked me, and this is MJ, who will score the first touchdown in Las Vegas, and my prediction is it's going to be Damon Arnett on a pick six. So there you go. We'll see. Of course, that would mean him doing it against Drew Brees and the Saints in Week 2 on Monday night in Las Vegas. So we'll see if Damon can make me look pretty good. Let's see. David, Dr. Esto 93 wants to know, hello, from what you observed, is the Raiders offense more complex and dynamic than last season? Is the playbook opening up more and more for big plays or shots downfield? I think those plays have always been there. John Gruden's been around a long time. He's got a big playbook. I think the difference now is that the Raiders have the necessary skill players to make it go. It's one thing to have, and it's funny, you talk to offensive coordinators, and they've got this play in their playbook, that play, this, but you start self-analyzing as you go into a game plan, and you go, no, we can't block that one. If you don't have confidence that you have the offensive lineman to give the quarterback enough time to make that play work, that goes in the garbage. Then this one, well, we don't have the X wide receiver to make that kind of that play happen, or the tight end. Our tight end isn't good enough to do this, or our running back isn't good enough to do that. There goes your playbook if you don't have the personnel. And I think that's been the case with John Gruden and the Raiders these last few years. They just were limited in what they can do in terms of his playbook because they didn't have the necessary talent. But I think that's changed with guys like Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, Darren Waller going into year 2, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, a really good offensive line. So I think now you're going to see, it may look like they added new plays, but I think what you're really going to see is that it's just they have confidence now in calling all the plays that they have. I was asked by Jerry, wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, and that's going to be Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, and Hunter Renfrow as your starters. That's what the depth chart says, and I think that's what you're going to see on Sunday. All right. QQing wants to know, camp over, roster set, moving on to week 1. How do you think we'll match up against the Panthers? They're starting a lot of rookies too with a new coach, but still got talent on offense. How can we come out with a W? Here's the thing. I think the Raiders are just a better team than the Carolina Panthers, so no excuses. I think they have the better talent. They have the more experienced quarterback who's in year 3 in the same system. They've revamped the defense. They've got skill players all over the field. No reason why the Raiders can't go in there and hang 30 points on the Carolina Panthers and win pretty easily. I get it. The Panthers are kind of an unknown quantity with their new head coach, but and that'll cause some problems probably early on. You're going to have to make some adjustments because you just don't know what the defensive front is going to look like. You don't know what kind of blitz packages they've got in mind. There's just a lot of unknown. But I just go back to what Derek Carr said earlier in training camp. They're at the point where if you're going to do this, well, as a defense, well, we've got this to counter. If you're going to take that away from us, well, we have this to be able to tap into. And there's going to be also cases where I don't care what you're doing. We're just too good. We're going to take what we want. So hearing Derek Carr talk about that, I think that there's going to be a little bit of that going on because you don't know what the Carolina Panthers are going to do necessarily. So you just have to rely on, hey, we're the better team here. We got the superior talent. We have the advantages, and now we're going to take advantage of those, play a clean football game, and come out of there with an easy win. That's what I think should happen. I'd be surprised if it didn't. Getting texts as we go along here. Breaking news. No, I'm just kidding. But this is Raider related. It's just not anything that's all that important. Yo, Vinny, this is from MR or Marcus Darling. Yo, Vinny, how's Waller looking so far? Man, that dude can play. That's all I got to say. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see how he gets used this year because there's more options now. So his numbers can go down, maybe his catches go down, but I think his impact is going to be just as big as it was last year, if not more, because now he's playing off some really good talent, and you got good talent that's going to draw attention away from him. That's going to open up things for or for himself. But there's also times where he's going to get a lot of attention, and that's going to open up things for everyone else. So it's going to work hand in hand. And I can't wait to see it all unfold on Sunday in Carolina. So I got to return this text. Sorry, guys. This is what reporters do sometimes. See, this is how it works right here. I'll look at my phone, okay? Because you might. Now, if I can only type, that would help, right? Okay, so that's taken care of. All right, man, everyone wants to know about the cap space. Guys, I wouldn't get my hopes up too high that this is going to be the Raiders now magically going to go out and sign some big-time player. I think they just wanted to get some cap space because you don't want to be in a situation where you can't go out and help yourself when needed. But hey, they're at least in position. Now they have some room if something came along. So we'll see about that. Okay, so I am LV Easy. I like that. He wanted to know, why is Brian Edwards starting over Zay? Well, they play two positions. Zay plays the wide receiver position that Henry Ruggs does, and typically that's on the line of scrimmage. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot of situations where Brian Edwards is on the other side playing alongside the tight end off of the line of scrimmage, or vice versa. But anyway, they're two different positions. And I think last year what happened was Zay got into a situation where they had to kind of move him all over the place because there were so many injuries. I think they wanted to just focus on one position, create a comfort level for him so that, it's very narrow in what he's going to do when he gets in there. And same with Brian Edwards. So two different positions, but I think you're going to see both of them play quite a bit. Restructuring contracts a future sign of cap problems in the upcoming years? Nah, they're in pretty good shape actually, with a lot of young players that are still on the rookie deals. So I don't anticipate this becoming a problem. Why couldn't we create this cap space for Yannick or Clowney? Would they consider restructuring Nassib? Also, don't know the answer to the Carl question, but tried to explain this before. If you look at the Raiders right now, as of, let's just say, the day that the Vikings traded for Yannick, okay, as of that day, the Raiders were fifth in terms of cash spending in the NFL, which is a lot of money. It was over $250 million that they're paying in cash this year for their roster. And, you know, at some point, you got to think of it this way. And just to be fair, right, they're spending the fifth most cap space in the NFL. They're not getting any money this year from any kind of ticket sales or anything like that. There's not going to be any fans in Las Vegas, you know, unfortunately, due to COVID-19. So that revenue stream is cut off to them to be able to, you know, help pay for that, basically. So if they were to go ahead, if they had traded for Yannick and paid him what the Vikings were paying him, now all of a sudden you're talking about the Raiders would be number one in cash expenditures at a much higher level than they currently are right now. It's a lot to ask in the current situation. So I think it wasn't just the salary cap situation. It was the money that they had under the cap, or excuse me, the money that they've already been spending and they're already committed to. It's a lot of money. Last question. How do you feel about the depth at offensive line? I like it. You know, obviously Brendan Parker showed them something. He's struggled in the times that he's been in there, but you know, he's still a 6'8", 320-pound football player with a lot of potential. Came from a small college, North Carolina A&T. I think the Raiders believe there's still a future there. I like Sam Young. I always have liked Sam Young. He can play both tackle positions. He's smart. He's picked up the offense really quick, Notre Damer. You know, so he is a guy that they're comfortable with as far as that swing tackle position. And then you also look at guys like Good and James, the backup guard and the backup center. They both have tackle in their background. So if you need to tap into that at some point, there's flexibility in that regard. There's, you know, positional flexibility from at least two of your backups that could also play center, guard, and tackle if need be. So they're in pretty good shape there. So yes, I am good with the offensive line depth, and I really believe the starters, if they stay healthy, is going to be one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for participating in today's Vegas Nation Q&A. Can't wait to do it again. And the next time we talk to you, there's going to be some games under the Raiders' belt. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. I think they should win that game pretty easily, but we'll find out. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you down the road.
With so much excitement building around the Raiders and their inaugural season in Las Vegas, the fans want to be heard. The launch of Vegas Nation Fan Zone is their answer. That's right, Raiders fans can sound off on all things Raiders, from players to coaches to even the new Allegiant Stadium. Vegas Nation Fan Zone is accessible 24/7 and allows fans to generate and upload their own posts for lively interaction. Simply go to fanzone.vegasnation.com to sign up today.